Wagwan family, my name is Zen, and I am an intuitive guide for my fellow artists and storytellers. The one thing that I feel artists of all sorts, writers, painters, sculptors, dancers, the one thing that we all have in common is the ability to be present. Now, I'm not saying that anyone who's an artist only can be present, because we all are as individuals. There are moments where we are present, but we don't necessarily understand what that means. And if we are able to understand on a deeper level what being in the present moment is, then we can allow it to serve us. So I want to take a second and just share my experience with being in the present moment is, and what I get in return from being intentional with it and aware of it. So being in the present moment deals with a certain degree of stimulation. Now, when you are present, it's all about being in tune with what it is that you are doing. Say if you're illustrating, right? What's going on is you're most likely in a daydreaming state that is allowing you to not only see what you're doing, but envisioning the world that your creation is moving through. You're not only thinking about the line that you're dragging around and manifesting something with, but you're thinking about maybe the sky that's gonna come across on the side, or you uniform what it is you're doing in that moment. You're bringing all of what's happening together. The visualization of what's happening is coming to clarity, and the pen movement is precise, and your arm, your thoughts, all of it has something to do with what it is you're doing in that moment. When we are in the present moment, what has actually happened to allow the presence of that moment to be amplified? All of your senses at once are being stimulated by that moment. Here's what I mean. You have touch. When you're in the moment, you may be touching something. Most often it is what you're working with. A painter, you might be, stroking the brush. Illustrators might be on the digital pad, or you might be working with a pen or a pencil. There's a connection between touch. You know what you're touching, you know what you're doing. That, to some point, we know what it's in our hand, but we branch in thought away from that. You don't sit there and just think, oh, the brush is in my hand and I have to move it. Like no one thinks like that when they are in a state of creating. And then you have taste. Now, how does this one really work into play? You have the ability to, instead of tasting, you breathe. And by breathing, the pace of your breath will ground your physical being, like that pencil, deeper into where you are currently, in the moment, in your seat, at your chair, at the desk. You are there. When you are feeling through breath and breathing, when you are feeling this placement, this settlement through breathing, sight is amplified. Your breathing will strengthen the ability to receive your environment on the rest of your senses. So we have seeing now. When you see what you're doing, you comprehend it in a way that can stimulate specific thoughts. What you look at while you're creating could either make or break your creation. When you're drawing, writing, painting, etc., you don't look off to the left, you don't stare at the window. When you are in flow, mind you, we are talking about being in a state of flow as well as being present, because they are both interchangeable. When you are in a state of flow in creation, you are in the present moment. Now, I just want to throw this in real quick. Being in the present moment is all about being playful. You are at play. No matter how serious the thing is that you're working on, the birthing of time moving past, the work that you're doing, and when it's enjoyable or when you get through it with joy, that's coming from a place of childlike innocence, which allows the experience to be much more than what it seems. However, so we have the sight, and what the sight does, it allows you to be more in tune with what's in front of you, and through the sight, it can produce the thought. You have your subconscious and your conscious mind. Now, in your conscious state of awareness, what you can do is choose the thoughts that you prefer and leave the ones that are more distracting. Now, when you are thinking while watching yourself create in a state of play, which is producing the flow, what you are doing is you're drawing, writing, or whatever, and your thoughts are in alignment with what's happening on the page, further allowing you to create a path for yourself, allowing you to utilize less willpower and more of this river of a current type of flow, where you just go from one thing to the next, doing less thinking and planning, because that is the resistance, the contemplation. And there's nothing wrong with that, but let's focus on the purity. Let's focus on the purity of letting loose the maximum experience within us that must be expressed, the flow. Now, we choose our thoughts in a way that aligns with our work, and as we do that, we create the path that allows our work to unravel in front of us. What it is that you're doing when you smell and you breathe, what you're doing is you're also being stimulated by your environment. You could, if you will, to further bring you into the moment, burn oils, burn a little sage, something of your own remedy that brings you further into your element. When you're in your element, you are in the present moment, because that is your birth place. Your element is primarily the present moment. That is where you are at your best. So, in addition, you can burn a little cedar wood, things of that nature, some lavender, and it just puts you right in there along with whatever else is going on. It's all about being stimulated in an aligned fashion. Now, when you listen, you can hear the birds chirping. You can listen to the ringing of the silence, or you can also listen to what's happening inward, which creates the in the moment reflective experience when you listen. Because you don't have to also, you can tune out what's going on outside of you and listen inward and hear your own thoughts, which is reflecting in a way that allows you to move progressively through your project. So when you're listening to the encouragement that you give yourself in the slipping moments of doubt, they happen for a split second, but you can say, oh man, this is coming out wonderful. You're when you listen to these things happening through your thinking, when you listen to those things, you allow once again yourself to progress through. Now, say if you wanted to listen to music, it only just stimulates you further into the present moment. It only creates the joy. When I listen to music and I create, I feel joy. I feel ready. I feel confident. I feel like there's a soundtrack that's producing me. You know, it brings it just further extends the alignment. With all these senses working together to create a sense of alignment, you're taking your entire being and merging it to what vibrational field is occurring in what is called the present moment. Because when you're out of it, you're not in sync with the waves, the frequencies that are right in front of you. You are on a whole nother station. And when you're on another station, the interruptions of your craft affect you in negative ways. The distractions in total will just throw you off. You won't be able to respond the way you prefer because you are not in alignment with the frequency in front of you, where if that were to happen, due to the stimulated feeling of that present moment, you would appreciate it, you would accept it, you would allow it. But let's say you're in a studio and you don't have any distractions. Still, anything could happen. You may have to walk away and grab something to eat. You can stub your toe along the way. Just anything could happen. I don't want to go down that list because it's infinite. But no matter where you are, there is a disruption. And us artists, we don't like disruptions. We don't like to take a break when it's not wanted. But when we are in the present moment consciously, that consciousness, that awareness, that mindfulness in the state that's in front of us, the field that's in front of us, when we're in tune with the world that's in front of us, in front of our hands, in front of our eyes, in the room, in the things that we can hear. You can hear the AC going on or whatever, and you can just hear it all buzzing and ringing, and you've developed your world around you, and you're stimulated by it, and you can think through it and not be distracted by it. You will operate off of your highest form of creation, your highest form of creativity. And now, mind you, your skill set is your skill set. You're going to draw at the level that you're able to, because that's a different talk. That is skills. And when you want to get better, you practice by doing it over and over. That's a whole other thing. I'm talking about when you want to create and you want to get into flow and you want to get your stuff done. That is when you want to simply produce things and get things from inside of you, outside of you. When you want to manifest these things, you choose to be creative, and that's what you are. You are a creator, and to be creative at your highest level, you have to be aligned with the present moment, your present moment. Now, that is all I wanted to tap into. I wanted to bring that to your awareness because it was something that I came across, and I wanted to share that as soon as I could. And I want to thank you for listening. It means a lot to me to be able to reflect through you guys. Like always, I would deeply appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you are updated when another video like this is put out there into the world. Once again, I'm Zen, wishing you guys a wonderful days ahead. Take care of yourself.